everybody! This is your host, the Platinum Knight, with a quadruple first impressions video. No, everybody, I am not even joking. For the first time ever, I am going to be talking about 4 movies in one first impressions video. And the reason why I'm covering 4 movies in one vid is because, well, everybody, let's just say I'm as delayed as it is, and I really need to catch up. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Starting with Weapons. This is a film that me and my friends decided to give a chance after hearing all the high praise from both critics and audiences alike. Yeah, this film was really hyped up. I mean, really? A 100% on Rotten Tomatoes? Dang. And so me and my friends decided to watch this in theaters somewhere back in August. And what are my thoughts on Weapons? It's pretty good. Here's some fun facts about Weapons. Originally, Pedro Pascal was supposed to be the main character instead of Josh Brolin, but Pedro Pascal ended up dropping out of the role because he was way too busy doing The Last of Us Season 2 and Fantastic Four. This led the director, Zach Cregger, to completely recast the whole movie. The only actor that made it from the original cast is Austin Abrams, who plays as the drug addict. Yeah, him and the director ended up becoming best friends in real life, and so he decided to keep him in this movie. Honestly, I'm glad that the recasting happened. As much as I do like Pedro Pascal and I think he is a great actor, I don't think this movie would have been the same if he was still in it. Even I can sometimes get a little bit wary of seeing him in every single movie and TV show. The story is about a whole class of elementary students just suddenly vanishing, except for one student, and then it goes from there. The whole movie revolves around looking for the missing kids, find out where are they, and what happened. Based on the premise alone, I was really intrigued by this mystery of the film. Everybody in the cast did great. Julia Gardner was amazing as the teacher. Josh Brolin did really good being as the father looking for his daughter. Eldon and Renrich did great as the cop. And of course, Austin Abrams did perfect as the drug addict. I can kinda understand why Zach Cregger decided to cast him in his new upcoming Resident Evil movie. Anyways, Weapons is a great horror film. Even though it's not really scary, it's more of a thriller. The only legit criticism that I have with this film is the nightmare sequences. The bad dreams and the random nightmares were completely unnecessary, and they didn't really add anything to the story or the movie. But other than that, this film is really damn good. Unfortunately, the overhype kinda did ruin this film for me a little bit. Again, I am by no means saying that Weapons is a bad movie whatsoever. I still liked it, but I wouldn't say it was 100% on Rotten Tomatoes great. The critic score has since changed to a 93%, and in my opinion, I think that's a little more accurate. But again, Weapons is a great horror film. I just didn't like the overbuzz and people saying that it is one of the greatest movies ever made. Nah, it's just a really good movie. Now, I'm not gonna spoil it, but that ending was hilariously satisfying. That was pretty cool. So if you haven't seen Weapons yet, then I highly recommend it. Now I am very much looking forward to what Zach Cregger does with his new Resident Evil movie. The next movie I'm gonna talk about is War of the Worlds. Ah, crap. Now I'm gonna talk about a movie that isn't so good compared to Weapons. This is a movie that me and my uncle decided to dare each other to watch it. I mean, it was free for Amazon Prime, and we were just like, what the hell? Let's just get this over with. We wanted to know if it was really just as bad as everybody says it was on social media. Basically, Basically, we watched it for the memes and lols. And oh my goodness, it is just as bad as everybody says it is. This movie is terrible. Ironically, its slogan sums up the whole movie. It's worse than you think. With awful CGI, bad acting, you can just tell that Ice Cube really did not want to do this movie. So many plot holes and no logic to be found. I swear, there were even times when the CGI literally looked like AI. Like, I'm not even joking. If you're wondering what this movie is even about, well, it's basically an alien invasion attacking Earth, and then Ice Cube's character, with the help of his friends and family, pretty much try to put a stop to it. Now, in hindsight, that actually doesn't sound too bad for a premise, but the problem is, this whole movie takes place on a bunch of web pages. This whole film looks like it was made in a Zoom call. I really wish I was just kidding. This movie is perfect for a bunch of ad placements. To be fair, I will say this though. When it comes to bad movies in general, here's the way I look at it. There are two different types of bad movies. There's bad movies that are boring bad, and then there's bad movies that are funny bad. And I'd say War of the Worlds 2025 would have to be a funny bad film. Kinda like Tommy Wiseau's The Room. So if you're looking for a funny bad film just wanting to get a little bit of laughs, then this is right up your alley. But personally, I would never watch this film again. It's honestly a miracle how me and my uncle survived. Ice Cube has since tried to defend the movie by saying, oh, well, it was made during the pandemic. Mr. Cube, that is not an excuse, man. A lot of good or decent movies were made during the pandemic, like the Dune remake, Godzilla vs. Kong, Gran Turismo movie, Five Nights at Freddy's, Blue Beetle, Black Widow, Avatar: The Way of Water. Need I say more? War of the Worlds has no excuses. Honestly, this adaptation makes the Tom Cruise version of War of the Worlds look like a masterpiece. Anyways, the film sucks. I don't recommend you watch it. And for those of you that do decide to watch it out of curiosity, watch at your own risk. The third film I'm gonna talk about is 28 Years Later. This is a film that I really wish I would have saw in theaters and make a going to see video on. Unfortunately, due to some personal issues, that did not happen. So me and my uncle one day randomly decided to watch it on Netflix, while me eating some delicious Burger King. And what are my thoughts on 28 Years Later? I like it. It is a really good zombie film, but that is to be expected by the one and only Danny Boyle. For those who are not familiar with Mr. Boyle's work, he directed the original 28 Days Later, Sunshine, Slumdog Millionaire, Trainspotting, 127 Hours, and so on. He didn't direct 28 Weeks Later, just produced it. And for the longest time, many people thought that 28 Months Later was supposed to be next. Boy, were we wrong. Instead, Danny Boyle comes back to direct another 28 film with 28 Years Later, 23 Years Later. Interestingly enough, the writer, which is Alex Garland, was actually inspired by The Last of Us, which is crazy to think about because when 28 Days Later first came out, that was actually very revolutionary when it comes to the zombie genre at that time. Now, with The Last of Us also being a revolutionary undead plot, now inspires another movie by a revolutionary film. That's crazy. The story is set after a couple of decades after the rage virus outbreak. The Last of Us inspiration really shows in this film, as it goes with a more slow-paced, emotional storytelling approach. Another interesting fact about 28 Years Later is this film was actually shot on an iPhone 15 Pro Max. But they didn't just shoot it with one iPhone 15, they shot it with multiple of them. And they ended up using them for this multi-angle technique, which is cool and all, but to be honest, it doesn't really add too much to the film. Personally, I would rather watch a movie in full screen, and I really wasn't digging those black bars, but that's just me. Danny Boyle has always been one of those directors that really likes to experiment. But even with that being said, the movie itself is still really good. It is very demonic, the story is well written, the characters are super relatable. Without spoiling it, that ending really hit me hard. I also really liked how the zombies have evolved and became way more intelligent, similar to Land of the Dead or Resident Evil 4. So for those of you who are really into zombies, then I highly recommend checking out this film. 28 years later was shot back to back with its sequel, The Bone Temple. This isn't really a spoiler, Danny Boyle already announced this way before this film even came out, but now I can't wait for Cillian Murphy to reprise his role as Jam. The last movie to talk about is Frankenstein, directed by Guillermo del Toro, the same director of Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy, Pacific Rim, and The Shape of Water. He also did the motion capture for Dead Man in the popular video game series by Hideo Kojima, Death Stranding. This is a film that I literally saw 2 days later after 28 years later. My uncle is the one who told me about it, and we just randomly decided to watch it on Netflix. Without spending too much time on this film, because all you really need to know is people go see it. This is by far one of the best Frankenstein remakes. If you've seen any other adaptation of Frankenstein, then you should already know what to expect. However, in Guillermo's version of Frankenstein, it is super brilliantly acted, especially Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein and Jacob Elordi as the creature. The cinematography is very well done. Most of all, I really enjoyed the story and the characters. Even though you already know what's gonna happen, it's all about the performances. It's all about how the characters retell the story. What really makes this film gravitating towards me is surprisingly the creature. The film is set into 2 chapters, one by Victor Frankenstein and the other by the creature. And I just felt bad for the creature. This is someone who tries to be nice, someone who tries to be good. Sure, there's some people that do understand him, while others treat him as a monster simply because of his appearance. The creature is just so relatable. And I'm not even joking when I say this, but I think Frankenstein 2025 might be my movie of the year, and I hope it wins some Oscars. As I said earlier, if you still haven't seen this adaptation of Frankenstein yet, then I highly recommend it. Alright everybody, that's it for this quadruple first impressions video. That's it for all 4 of my first impressions on Weapons, War of the Worlds, 28 years later, and Frankenstein. Thank you so much for those of you that watched till the end. I know it was a lot to cover and I do apologize for that, but like I said everybody, I really need to catch up. Almost done covering everything that I didn't cover in the year 2025. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, then please be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for new videos. This has been your host, The Platinum Knight, and peace out everybody. You have yourselves a good one.